let's move on to the Baylor Bears. Another class that I feel like they have really cleaned up at every single position. What do you think?
Love this class.
Yeah.
This Baylor class is not going to get the credit that it deserves, in my opinion, because at the beginning of this cycle, all bets were off. The deck was literally stacked against Dave Aranda and his staff there. He went out and hired Keenan Hall from SMU, and the floodgates kind of opened. Relationships started getting formed. Coach Pallage as well, tremendous coach. Those two guys, to me, spearheaded.
Jake Spavital, too.
Yeah, Jake Spavital changed the offense. The success under center can be pointed at and say kind of what changed at Baylor. When they started winning games, Sawyer Robertson came in, the vibe changed, and I think the energy changed. But these recruits were starting to flow in before that, and that maybe helped the product on the field because the excitement is there.
And one of the dudes that Sawyer Robertson will possibly be throwing to is Red Oak wide receiver Taz Williams, Jr. And the BTZ over there has got more information on him.
Let's talk a little bit about the Red Oak superstar. Look, if you're named after a Looney Tune, things are going to go pretty well out there out wide. And Taz Williams is that dude, a guy who is a playmaker of the highest order for Red Oak for a couple of years.
It was one of the most shocking commitment flips on his commitment announcement. I was there covering it in person with Powers, and when he picked Baylor, the crowd was shocked because at that time, you got to remember, the class is awesome now, but Taz Williams kind of turned the tide there, and that's what these Baylor coaches expect from him as a freshman. He's a locker room guy, a good leader, a culture guy that they think can really help them progress as a locker room. And I think one of the biggest disappointments of the 2024 Texas high school football season was that Taz Williams didn't get to have his legacy year and was out for most of the season.
Yeah, he was injured, but this is a guy who is also a track guy, a guy who stars in the 200. I think he runs the first leg in their 4x100 meter team there at Red Oak. He has got speed to burn and great hands as well. What I'm interested in seeing is, can they move him around and get to him the ball just in open space? He's one of those guys that no matter how it is, whether it's on a short pass, whether it's going a deep ball, whether it's a handoff, just get him the ball in a little bit of space and let him cook.
Yeah, 80 catches for 1,200 yards as a junior, and a lot of it is on deep passes, but he can run every route in the route tree, plays a lot of backyard ball with his QB, and I know that's something that Jake Spavital, the offensive coordinator at Baylor, they thrive in that offense, so I think he's a perfect fit.
He is a perfect fit, just like these players are a perfect fit for being in the ball-talking zone.
You guys always get me when you pass it back over to me. Of course, Taz Williams, great fit for this Baylor offense here. Let's take another look at some of the other guys that are great fits for the Baylor Bears. And instead of going through this entire list, because it's just a bunch of dudes.
Right.
Who stands out to you the most? I've got a couple in my mind, but I want to hear your thoughts on this.
Kamarion Morgan from South Oak Cliff. He brings an edge rushing presence to the table that I think you have to have in the Big 12. And I think a recruit that's we're going to look back on it and say, hey, he was extremely important to this class as Edward Griffin III. We're calling him EG3 already because, he's the next Griffin to star at QB in Waco.
I love that. I think I'd say mine is probably Ja'Cory Watson. I've had my eye on him for a while now, and to see what he's been able to do at Shadow Creek this year.
That was an Ashley Pickle find. She went out and found Shadow Creek's Ja'Cory Watson on his first varsity game.
Shout out Ashley Pickle
and
for
Texan
finding
Live,
for finding one of the top prospects in Baylor's 2025 class.